Namaste, yogis. Hi, I'm Angeline, and this is my YouTube channel. I would like to invite you today to join me in this practice. We will be focusing on our liver and gallbladder meridians. These meridians are associated to the emotion of anger. So if you have an imbalance or it's overly stimulated in areas, it tends to be connected to if you're experiencing a lot of anger in your life recently, or if you're feeling frustrated. So balancing these meridians can help with that. We are going to start by first me letting you know if we need any props. You can have blocks nearby just in case you want to use them for extra support. I always use a blanket to sit on. I just like having the extra height, and I like that it supports my pelvis in a tilt. You may also want to have a bottle of water or any container of water nearby just in case you feel thirsty. We are going to start in our meditation, so you can be seated. You can sit in a seated position, and simple cross leg is fine, or you can sit in hero's pose, whichever you feel resonates with you. We're going to close our eyes, elongate the spine. We're going to take a nice deep inhale through our nose, and we want to fill up our belly, then fill up the chest. And as the chest finishes filling up, you want to feel those collarbones lift. Hold for 1 second, and then exhale everything out through the nose, dropping the collarbones, releasing the chest, then emptying out the belly. Here we like to come up with a mantra for our practice, and today's mantra is I am calm and serene. Actually, I think I want to change it. We could say I am calm and at peace. Allow yourself to tune into your body, to what you're experiencing in the present moment during your practice. We want to keep our mind focused on the breath, using that breath as an anchor throughout the practice as we're in our asana, using the breath to help us find stillness and to commit to the hold. When we go into our asana, we only want to go to where we just start to feel sensation. Let's gently open our eyes. And here's where we can use a block. We're going to come into a supported bridge. Now you can use your blanket if you want. If you don't want that much of a bend, you just lay it across your mat sideways. If you use the block, you can, again, according to you and how your body feels today, you can have your block like this, or on flat on the long side, the wider side, I guess it would probably be more appropriate to say. So we're going to take the block, we're going to tuck it right underneath the sacrum. So we want the top of the block to meet the top of that triangle. We're going to be here 3 minutes. Let's go ahead and tuck those shoulder blades toward one another and underneath. You can keep your knees bent if you want to take a few moments here to just kind of acclimate to the pose, engage in that breath, using it to carry you throughout the time. We're going to be here about 3 minutes. Once you start to feel your body open and release and let go, you can start to extend one leg at a time. Keep the knees pointing up towards the ceiling. The toes can point towards the wall in front of you. Gallbladder meridian runs on the outside of the body, and then the liver meridian is on the inside of the leg and up through the front of the body. Just about there. We're going to go ahead and slowly bend one knee at a time. Pressing through your feet, you're going to lift those hips up. Pull that block out from underneath. Bring the hips back down to the floor. You can bring those knees together. Walk the feet wide. We're just going to take a few breaths here. For our next pose, we're going to roll over to the right side. Go ahead and bring yourself back up and then come down onto your belly. And we're going to come into a Sphinx. And again, we're going to be here for only 3 minutes. So you want your feet to be about as wide as the mat. You want to bring the elbows underneath the shoulders. If you feel like this crunches the low back too much for you, you can walk those elbows out and let yourself drop down a little bit further. You want to lift the head up towards the ceiling, lifting through the chest, and then letting the chest come forward through the arms. And again, we're just going to engage in our breath, using it as an anchor. We're going to find our appropriate edge, coming to where we just start to feel sensation, finding stillness, and then staying in our pose for probably just a couple more minutes. You want to make sure your glutes and your hamstrings are relaxed as well. Remembering our mantra, I am calm and I am at peace. Remembering to breathe in through your nose, filling up the belly, the chest, lifting the collarbones, and then releasing everything out. Breathing in and out through your nose. We're going to slowly bring those elbows out to the side, stack your hands. You can lay your forehead on the back of your hands and we'll just rock those hips out, side to side. We're going to go ahead and push ourselves up. And we are going to come into a swan. So to set up for swan, you want to come onto the hands and knees. Your knees are going to be right under your hips. The hands are right under the shoulders. Let's go ahead and bring that right knee to the right wrist. Walk that right foot towards the left wrist. And then we're going to slide the left leg back. And here you have options. So you can take your blanket and you can rest it under this right hip, or you can bring a block underneath there. You can take the blanket and lay it underneath the left thigh, front thigh. We are actually going to do 1 minute in a full swan. So just come up onto your little cupcake fingers, bringing the head up towards the ceiling, letting those hips drop towards the floor, opening that space in the hips. We want to keep our hips squared. And again, staying engaged with that breath, breathing in through the nose, that 3-part breath, and then exhaling, reversing the order that the breath empties out of the body. We're going to come down onto our elbows and we're going to set up into a sleeping swan. So here you can come with the hands together and just rest on your forearms, or you can come all the way down, stacking the hands on top of each other, resting your head. You want to keep that spine long. I mean, you can round your back a little bit here, but you don't want to slouch into your body. You want to elongate. We're going to go ahead, press ourselves back up. We're just going to flatten our hands, elongate through the spine again, lifting the head towards the ceiling, just taking a few breaths here. Let's go ahead and bring that right knee back, and we're going to set up to come into a downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, bend your knees, lifting the hips up towards the ceiling. Now straightening out your legs. You want your hands in front of your head about 6 inches. We're just going to take a few steps here, walking the dog out, bending one knee and pressing the opposite heel into the mat. Get a nice stretch in the back of your calves, nice and slow. We're not trying to warm up the muscles too much or engage them too much, but continuing that lengthening of the fascia, the stretching of the fascia. So we're going to sit back up, hands and knees into tabletop. Bring the left knee to the left wrist, left ankle to the right hand. Slide that right leg back. And we're going to be into a full swan here. So we're coming up onto those cupcake fingers. Keeping the hips squared, sliding that right leg back, letting the hips open and come down towards the mat. Remember to stay consistent in your breath and in the breathing. We're going to come down onto the forearms. We're just going to be here a couple minutes. ahead and come back up. We're going to take a couple breaths with our hands flat on the floor. Slide that knee back, and then we're going to come back into a downward facing dog again. I'm going to walk that dog, pressing the heel into the floor, bending the opposite knee. Just a couple more. Press both heels into the floor as you lift those hips up towards the ceiling, pressing in through the arms. We're going to come back down. And we're going to come into our next pose, which is shoelace pose. So for shoelace, you have a few options. Two options I will give you are you want the knees stacked on top of each other. So you can see if you can come into the pose just like this. You're going to sit on the front ledge of your mat. That's if you feel like you need that support in the pelvis. If not, you can come directly to the floor. You do want to feel both of your sit bones on the blanket. And this is going to be our pose. If you can't get your legs to do that, you can take the left leg, have it straight, and then the right knee is going to be over the left knee if possible. If this doesn't work for you, then the next option you have is taking that right knee in front, the left knee behind, and then you're going to sit back onto your blanket. And we are just going to do 4 minutes on this side, but we're going to start with a twist. So we're going to inhale and lift, exhale, twist to the right. So you can take your left hand and just rest your forearm on the front of that right knee. Take the right hand back behind the glutes. You want to elongate through your spine, inhale, and then exhale and twist a little bit. Just continue to do that as we're in this pose. This asana is helping us to really get into the gallbladder meridians. As we hold these poses, we're applying pressure on these meridians. And then when we release, the pressure helps if you have any jitsu points along the meridian. It helps to disperse that. And then when you release, it helps the Kyo point, Suo points to rebalance or take in the energy that it's lacking. We're going to come back to the front. And we want to bend to our right. So walk that right hand out. Take that left hand up and over. And we're just going to be here 2 minutes. You can rest your head or hand on your head. Get a nice deep side body stretch. just about there. Continuing to use that breath to anchor you into your asana. And then bring that left arm back down, come back to center. Take a nice inhale, elongate through your spine. And exhale everything out with a sigh. We're going to unwrap our legs. And then let's lean back onto our hands as we bend our knees. And we're just going to do a couple windshield wipers here. And now you set up for the second side. So whichever way you got into your shoelace on the right, just let yourself set back up the same way for the left. So when you have the knees stacked, you want to have the hips leveled on that blanket. Your feet are coming across from one another. We're going to go ahead and inhale, elongate through the spine. Exhale, twist towards the left, bringing that left hand back behind you. The right hand is in front of that left knee. Again, using that breath to help you stay anchored in your asana. Go ahead and come back to the center, and then we're going to set up to do our bend. So you're going to inhale, elongate through the spine again. Exhale, walk the hand to the left, lifting the right arm up and overhead, and you can lean, rest that right hand on the side of your head. We're just going to be here 2 minutes. You may feel heat or coldness running through your legs, through the sides of your body. That's just the energy shifting. You don't really want to feel tingling or numbness, but other sensations are completely normal. Some slight discomfort you may experience, but again, no pain. If you ever feel like you went too far in your asana, you're more than welcome to come out of it a little bit. And then lift that right hand back, or lift it up and then bring it back down. We're going to lean back onto both hands, bending our knees, placing the feet on the floor, and we're just going to drop the knees left to right, coming into a nice transitional pose, a windshield wiper. And now we want to come into what is called straddle. So we want the gluteal fold to be on that front ledge of our blanket. You can bring the blocks here if you want. I like to feel the force of gravity bringing me closer to the floor and not having anything stopping me, so I can kind of stretch a little bit more. So we're going to inhale, lift through our spine. Exhale, twist to the right and start to fold forward, trying to reach our chest over the right knee. We're just going to be here for a bit. If you want to turn, and so rest that right hand on your ankle, bring the left hand up and over. You want to open your chest, maybe look up at the ceiling if you want. But since we're holding it for 2 minutes, I feel like today this is more my speed and what I need. Push ourselves back up. We're going to inhale again, elongate through the spine. Exhale, twist to the left, and then walk the chest over that left knee. We're just going to be here 2 minutes, remembering to inhale and exhale through our nose. You want to fill up the belly, chest, lifting the collarbones, and then when you exhale, you want the collarbones to drop, the chest deflates, and then the belly deflates. to twist maybe for the last few seconds. Again, stimulating the gallbladder meridian that runs on the outside and the sides of our body. We're going to come back up to the middle. Inhale, lift. Exhale, walk your hands forward. And here, if you want, you can definitely use a block. Or again, just tuck your chin to your chest and let gravity kind of have its way with you, bringing you closer to the floor. Again, not pushing past your edge or anything, not bringing you deep into a feeling of major sensation. You just want to start to sense any sensation that this pose may be eliciting. Slowly walk ourselves back up, and then here we want to come back into a nice windshield wiper transitioning pose. And we have two more asanas before Shavasana. We're going to come into banana pose or banana nasana. I believe I said it right. You could do it two ways. I want to use the blocks today and lay where I'm going to rest my side on the block, or you can lay on the floor and bend your body into the shape. If you lay on the floor, you lay on your back and you're going to bring your legs over to the left, and you could take that right ankle and just put it over the left. Move the upper body towards the left. Lift your arms up overhead, and then you're going to grab the back of your right wrist with your left hand, and you're going to pull yourself over that way. If you want to set up how I am, we're going to take the two blocks and our blanket, and you're going to lay with the hips right at the bottom edge of that. You're going to bring your head onto the left arm. The arm's just going to come to the floor. You can bring it up to your head if you want. We're going to be here 2 minutes. You can keep the knees bent, or I believe it would be better if you actually straighten the legs. Keep the hips stacked if you can, and then take the right arm over the head, and then just let yourself have a nice stretch on the right side of the body. We're just going to be here 2 minutes. So again, breathing in and out through the nose, that 3-part breath. ahead and bring that right hand back down onto the outside of our right hip for a couple breaths here. Feeling that energy shift through the body. We're going to press ourselves back up. And we are going to switch sides. So again, if you need to bend your knees, bring your bolster set up close to that right hip. Again, you want to straighten the legs, stack your hips. Inhale and lift that left arm up and overhead. We're just going to be here again, only 2 minutes. Just about there. Inhale, lift that arm back up and dropping it on the outside of our left hip. Take a couple breaths here. And slowly press ourselves back up to a seated position. We're going to move our blanket and our blocks off to the side. We are going to go ahead and lay on our backs. Bend your knees. You want to press into your feet, and we're going to shift our hips to the left. Take your arms out into a T position. Inhale, lift those knees towards your chest. Flex your feet. Exhale, drop those knees and the feet towards the right. Inhale, lift the head up, and then exhale, look over that left hand. And we're just going to be here, like I said, only 2 minutes. If you want to take your right hand on the outside of the left knee, you can do that. We're just about there. Going to release that right hand off of the left knee if you have it there. You want to inhale, bring your head back to center, engage your core, lifting those knees up, bring them back through the middle, placing the feet on the floor. We're going to shift the hips back down through the center. We're going to bring the knees together, feet wide, and we're just going to feel that energy flowing through our body. Taking a few breaths here. We're going to switch to the other side. So you just want to take those hands back out into a T. You're going to press through your feet as you have your knees bent. Shift the hips to the right. Inhale, lift the knees towards your chest with the feet flexed. You want to exhale, drop those knees over to the left. Inhale, lift your head up. Exhale, look over that right hand. Again, you can keep both arms out in a T position, or you can take your left hand on to the outside of your right knee. Gonna release that hold on that knee if you have it. Inhale, bringing the head back to center. Engage your core, lifting those knees back and up through the middle. We're going to shift the hips back to the center, knees together, feet wide. A few breaths here. Sensing that energy shifting through your body, through your meridians. And we're going to set up for Shavasana. So if you like this and the way it feels, you may stay here. If you want to just tuck the shoulder blades toward one another and down your back, the hands are going to be down towards the hips. If you want to come into full Shavasana, just extend through your heel to the corner of the mat and release, letting that foot drop out or in. Again, tucking the shoulders together down the mat. You can inhale, lift your head, look at your feet, and exhale, keeping some length in that neck. We're just going to be here here for about 3 minutes. Again, coming back to our mantra, I am calm and I am at peace. Allowing yourself to rest into the support of the floor. I would advise you not to skip your Shavasana. This is definitely the treat after the delicious meal. All the work we did, here's where we're processing and acclimating, shifting and letting it kind of settle and do what it needs to do before we end our practice today. You're always welcome to take a longer Shavasana if you would like. Lower your tolerance to stress. It seems that we have it backwards in our society. We tend to look up to people who are under a great deal of stress, who can handle loads of stress, and those who are under a great deal of pressure. When someone says, "I've been working really hard," or "I'm really stressed out," we are all taught to admire, even emulate their behavior. In my work as a stress consultant, I hear the proud words, "I have a very high tolerance to stress," almost every day. It probably won't come as a surprise that when these stressed out people first arrive at my office, more often than not, what they are hoping for are strategies to raise their tolerance to stress even higher so they can handle even more stress. Fortunately, there is an inviolable law in our emotional environment that goes something like this. Our current level of stress will be exactly that of our tolerance to stress. You'll notice that the people who say, "I can handle lots of stress," will always be under a great deal of it. So, if you teach people to raise their tolerance to stress, that's exactly what will happen. They will accept even more confusion and responsibility until, again, their external level of stress matches that of their tolerance. Usually it takes a crisis of some kind to wake up a stressed out person to their own craziness. A spouse leaves, a health issue emerges, a serious addiction takes over their life. Something happens that jolts them into a search for a new kind of strategy. It may seem strange, but if you were to enroll the average stress management workshop, what you would probably learn is to raise your tolerance to stress. It seems that even stress consultants are stressed out. What you want to start doing is noticing your stress early, before it gets out of hand. When you feel your mind moving too quickly, it's time to back off and regain your bearings. When your schedule is getting out of hand, it's a signal that it's time to slow down and evaluate what's important rather than power through everything on the list. When you're feeling out of control and resentful of all you have to do, rather than roll up your sleeves and get to it, a better strategy is to relax. Take a few deep breaths, go for a short walk. You'll find that when you catch yourself getting too stressed out early, before it gets out of control, your stress will be like the proverbial snowball rolling down a hill. When it's small, it's manageable and easy to control. Once it gathers momentum, however, it's difficult, if not impossible, to stop. There's no need to worry that you won't get it all done. When your mind is clear and peaceful and your stress level is reduced, you'll be more effective and you'll have more fun. As you lower your tolerance to stress, you will find that you'll have far less stress to handle, as well as creative ideas for handling the stress that is left over. So let's go ahead and start coming back into our bodies. Taking a nice deep breath in through the nose, filling up the belly, the chest, lifting your collarbones. Take a pause at the end of that inhalation. And go ahead and exhale everything out with a sigh. Let's bring our feet together, hands up overhead and together. Inhale, lengthen through the whole length of your body. And exhale, roll over to whichever side feels most comfortable to you. I'm going to take a couple breaths here, breathing in through the nose, exhaling everything out through the mouth. One more time, inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Let's push ourselves back up to a seated position. Let's come together in a chant of Om to seal the energy for all the changes that we made in our practice today. So you can sit in a simple cross-legged position, hands either up or down on your knees. We're going to take a nice deep inhale. And as we exhale, we'll chant Om. Om. Let's bring our hands together in front of our heart. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, drop your forehead to the tips of your fingers. Peace and namaste. Raise your head back up and enjoy the rest of your day. I would like to thank you for joining me today in this practice. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. You can also like and comment on it. If there's any questions or feedback that you have for me, I would be happy to hear it. And again, I would like to thank you for joining me and wishing you all the best.